Hey guys, Wade here. It's been quite the weekend, but we have made it to another marvelous Monday morning. And guys, I got some big news for you in this video. As you can tell by the thumbnail, we are talking Swift, we are talking HBAR, and we are talking stellar lumens, because three pieces of information that I have for you in this video, guys, I guarantee you it's all connected. I have just discovered that CBDCs will be compatible with ISO 20022. This takes this whole discussion to a completely whole nother level, guys, whole nother level. So smash that like button, make sure you give me a follow on Twitter, and let's jump right into the Power 42 so we can see what the market is doing today. So looking at the Power 42, this is our Digit Hustle Index, guys, and remember the link will always be down in the description, so that way you can check this out anytime you see fit. And then, of course, let me know if there's ever any issues with this, guys. I haven't had trouble with my Masari account, but I have had trouble viewing this thing over the weekend. So just give me a quick email comment. Let me know everything is all right. But let's see what our top 10 looks like this week, guys. I know I missed our Power 42 video last week, but hey, Terra Luna happened, and whoa, that was mind blowing. But we're past it now. We're here. It's a whole new week. Let's get this money now. Coming in at number 1, Bitcoin, still the top of the pack, followed by BNB and XRP at 2 and 3. BNB coming in at 331. BNB has had a very, very strong few days, especially with this Terra Luna situation and, of course, everything we got going overseas. And, guys, about Binance, the video that had to be taken down, well, there was a historical error. And now thinking back on it, man, that was really funny how I missed that one. But 20-year gap, should have saw it. Anyway, point is, guys, Binance has a very important role to play in this crypto space. And I really want you all to understand that. I know BNB is not necessarily the lowest price token, but I'm telling you, if you missed out on Ethereum, it's Binance. If you missed out on Bitcoin, it might be Binance. Okay, but that's just how I personally feel. You know, it's number 1 on our Elite 8, guys. And coming in at number 4, ranking number 4 is Solana, followed by Polkadot, and then Tron. And I want to show you guys something about Tron, okay? See, this is another reason why I like the Power 42, guys. We have all of this information. Now, I want to slide over and look at the 7-day, 30-day, and year change. Okay, this is from the top of 2022. This would be year to date, meaning a year going back to this day last year for Tron. And even with that, from this very same day last year, Tron is still up 1%. From the start of 2022, it's up 22%. Last 30 days, 14%, and 12 for the last 7. Now, guys, what does that indicate? There is a lot of strength in the Tron ecosystem right now, and it's largely due to that USDD stablecoin, okay? And we will be talking about that later this week on the channel. But rounding out the top 10, we have Polygon, Chronos, and the star, one of our stars for today's episode, Stellar Lumens, coming in at 13 cents or 452 Satoshis. And then right outside the top 10, we do have Algorand and HBAR competing for that 11th spot. HBAR coming in at 10 cents, guys. And when I tell you the story that we have in this video, guys, you're going to see that that is a deal if I've ever seen one. So I would say that the markets are looking pretty cool right now. Everything's cool. Everything's where it's supposed to be. No major corrections happen over the weekend. Bitcoin is sitting comfortably, I would say, at the 30K range. So that's big, guys. Really looking forward to this week. Now, let's jump right into this news. We are starting with Swift. Guys, again, you know, when we start a video with Swift, it's about to be a deep video. So new experiments are paving the way for international payments using central bank digital currencies. This is coming from Swift, guys, posted May 19th, as a matter of fact. But Swift, in collaboration with Capgemini, is conducting new experiments to test how we can interlink domestic central bank digital currencies and take the next step towards seamless cross-border payments involving digital currencies. Now, right away, guys, in that first little piece there, we kind of get Easter eggs and little hints as to how big this is about to blow up. But with an interest in central banks' digital currencies clearly on the rise, the new report from the Bank for International Settlements is saying 9 out of 10 central banks are now exploring central bank digital currencies, covering economies that account for more than 90% of global GDP, guys. So all of the nations, all of the economic driving nations, they're coming out with CBDCs. 90% of global gross domestic product, ladies and gentlemen. You see where we're headed here. And it's also going to call for something a very important feature, which we'll talk about in a second. But continuing, we have the top guy from SWIFT, Thomas Jack, Chief Innovation Officer. He states that facilitating interoperability and interlinking between different CBDCs being developed around the world will be critical if we are to fully realize their potential. Today, the global CBDC ecosystem risks becoming fragmented, with numerous central banks developing their own digital currencies based on different technologies, standards, and protocols. Now, what that illustrates is that right now, the CBDC ecosystem is looking a lot like the current monetary ecosystem, in the sense that there is already fragmentation starting to appear. This is the issue that SWIFT is looking to address, guys. And they started last year. In 2021, SWIFT conducted a first set of CBDC experiments that demonstrate we could successfully orchestrate a cross-border transaction between one entity on a DLT-based CBDC network and a second running on an established real-time gross settlement system. Okay, so this is showing us that they are building CBDCs to work on both DLT based networks as well as the traditional payment systems such as your real-time gross settlement. Now, with Capgemini, they say that they are moving to the next level. This time in collaboration, we are testing how SWIFT can interlink the multiple domestic-based CBDC networks emerging worldwide to make cross-border payments with CBDCs more seamless and frictionless. The report on CBDCs, guys, that we have to look forward to, we're going to have to add another layer to it, because the Bank for International Settlements releases these reports I'm seeing now on a monthly basis. And with our transition to ISO taking place this November, guys, and we're talking less than 6 months away, it's no wonder why we're starting to see more and more information like this coming out, guys. Now, they are looking at CBDCs as a new form of fiat currency that have the potential to enable new or better payment capabilities, but they are not necessarily a replacement to traditional payment infrastructures and processes. CBDC and traditional infrastructures will need to coexist and work for some time to come. So that's basically talking about that 3-year period between the end of this year and 2025, where the traditional payment systems and the new payment systems will all be working together in order to ensure the transition. All right. CBDCs are going to have a very big place in that. And by the end of this video, once we put this all together, guys, you're going to see how CBDCs are going to be running on particular blockchains. And we have a couple already. Now, not all CBDC initiatives will adopt the same technology. This is emphasizing that same point. For example, some national CBDC platforms are being built using a centralized architecture, where others are using distributed ledger technology. In their experiment from last year, they demonstrated that they could achieve interoperability between CBDCs and existing payment systems using banks' communication via established messaging. That established messaging, you know exactly what that is. But with Capgemini, they're taking this a step further. They're going to test how SWIFT can interlink at a network level CBDC platforms, regardless of their technology, with existing payment systems via the SWIFT platform. We are exploring whether interlinking could offer a highly scalable and easily integrated solution to making CBDC networks cross-border payment ready. Guys, we have, and you'll see this posted in the community tab, but last month there was the World Government Summit, where they spoke about how digital currencies need to get ready for the cross-border payments era. This week, as a matter of fact, it started last evening, Davos 2022. Guess what the biggest topic of discussion is there this week? Cross-border payments, digital currencies. This is the next wave, guys. That's why I've been telling you. Now, continuing, we're building and demonstrating the ability to deploy a gateway on a domestic CBDC network. Guys, listen to this description. The gateway will intercept cross-border transactions on the network, translate them, and send them to the SWIFT platform for onward transmission to another CBDC network or established payment system. How many established payment systems do we have in this space, guys? Go ahead, name them down in the comments. But here's the cinch right here's the cincher right here, guys. This paragraph. They state, this collaborative proof of concept addresses the interlinking of different central bank digital currencies. It also reuses existing bank messaging standards and authentication models, including ISO 20022 and SWIFT's private key infrastructure. Their aim is to ensure that the solution can be accessible across SWIFT's unique community of more than 11,000 financial institutions in over 200 countries. Now, just to be honest, guys, I don't know why this surprises me so much, but it does make sense. CBDCs, they need a brand new messaging system in order to work. The ISO messaging system is going to allow them to go global. In a quote from Jerome Holschler, the global head of card and payments for Capgemini, he states that we are very pleased to be co-designing the payment rails of the future and in the process pushing the boundaries on CBDCs. This collaborative approach will pave the way for matching current services and preparing for more value-added services. Now, I read this quote because it's going to play a factor in our next story. It's the terminology that's important here. Now, let's wrap up this particular paragraph because I got one more for you guys. We have the results of what happened. Now, technically, the proof of concept ensures, regardless of the platform used, and look at what we have here featured in these parentheses, Corda and Quorum, XDC and JP Morgan, written right here in the text, ladies and gentlemen. They too were also adopted in this experiment. Now, SWIFT is providing efficient orchestration of transactions in collaboration with Capgemini. We're addressing three particular use cases: CBDC to CBDC, fiat to CBDC, and then CBDC to fiat. But scrolling down even further, the final sentence on this post, it states that we'll also be looking beyond CBDCs to how we can enable interoperability between other digital assets and currencies as they are developed and become regulated globally. SWIFT is very aware that the cryptocurrency ecosystem is growing, is thriving, and it will be regulated. And with regulation will come the wave of mass adoption. Okay. And I love how they're timing all of these things right around Bitcoin's next halving. We have an election. We have the ISO situation. A number of events are starting to be built around the Bitcoin halving that's going to make the last few months of 2023 going into 2024, it's going to make everything miraculous. But let's get into the next story. We're talking Hedera Hashgraph, Haiti, and MTech. Guys, is this the details of Project New Dawn? Let's find out. MTech Haiti Pay unveiled the first CBDC proof of concept for the Haitian market, leveraging distributed ledger technology. So right away, guys, we have one of the examples that Swift just mentioned in that article. Now, central bank digital currency infrastructure provider MTech joined forces with Haiti Pay, a fintech company in Haiti, to demo its first CBDC plus a fintech proof of concept and showcase the impact that it can have on the Haitian economy. Both companies, led by Haitian women, I had to highlight that, after months of collaboration, unveiled the first functional test of a potential CBDC being distributed and used in Haiti for banking the unbanked. Now, this quote is coming from a 2018 FinScope survey that they use as a source for their information. More specifically, Pascal Ely, co-founder and chairwoman of Haiti Pay. She states that we are excited to collaborate with MTech and showcase how CBDCs and fintechs can accelerate the digitization of a accelerate the digitalization of a cash-based economy. According to this 2018 survey, 56% of Haiti's population does not have access to formal financial services. On the other hand, 67% of the population has access to a phone. They are looking to leverage this connectivity to build new rails that will enable better access to financial services at the bottom of the pyramid. Now, in reading through my CBDC reports, the BIS reports that are coming out, guys, and I'll just put a link to them down in the episode guide for this video. This is a reoccurring thing. This statistic is very prevalent because what we are seeing, guys, and when we look at a map of all of the CBDCs being developed, what we'll find is that in these smaller nations are way more mobile friendly than they were 10 years ago. And that's a huge catalyst. It's the same type of environment, the same type of situation that got China to where it is right now. So very important elements, guys. But let's keep pushing because they're going to specifically name Hedera Hashgraph. Collaboration showcases technology and talent is ready and able. Leveraging technology and bypassing traditional challenges offers modern and cost-effective payment rails for the street merchant, a mom with a family abroad, and a freelancer skilled enough to earn a living online without having to leave Haiti. In joining forces with Haiti Pay, we aim to show how a digital cash infrastructure enables the central bank to integrate much more easily with regulated fintechs to power the digital and inclusive economy. That's a quote from Caramel Cadet, founder and CEO of MTech, guys. Now, this is when she speaks, then you know who's coming right behind her. The partners worked to demonstrate how a central bank digital currency built on a publicly distributed ledger, Hedera Hashgraph, with an API-led infrastructure can accelerate financial inclusion. This approach lowers the cost of payments and gives seamless access to digital cash for a regulated fintech like Haiti Pay, and servicing the bank, unbanked, underbanked, and all of the diaspora. We have developed an architecture that makes the Haitian CBDC accessible to every Haitian around the world, subject to regulatory rules. Now, on the subject of MTech, HBAR, CBDCs, like I said, this is a very touchy subject. A lot of people are for the technology advancement, but they are concerned about having the data stolen, privacy issues, so forth and so on. But the further you look into these central bank digital currencies, guys, the less fear exists. I'm telling you, there are no more restraints or constrictions with CBDCs that don't already exist with regular paper money, which is why I don't understand what's going on with this whole discussion, guys. But as we know, knowledge is power, and that's what we like to talk about here. Now, lastly, we're going to wrap up with the Stellar Lumen situation. Now, this story, it actually dates back to March, but I still have not heard anybody speak about it. And we haven't talked about Stellar in quite some months. That's mainly because they've been working. All right. Next month in June, the MoneyGram pilot is set to go live, guys. Something that a lot of people are forgetting about. But let me show you how deep that goes. March 21st, Crypto Briefing reported that Ukraine CBDC is progressing even during this conflict. And this is coming from Stellar's CEO, Danielle Dixon. Guys, this is very big, okay? Because it's a very short piece. It's a very short article. But in it, guys, is really the meat and potatoes of this whole meal. Stellar CEO Danielle Dixon has said that her company is still working with Ukraine on its central bank digital currency. Giving an update on March 21st in an interview with CoinDesk, she stated that the project is still going on, and currently, as we all know, it was stated that Bit and Tascam Bank would utilize Stellar to pilot a digital version of the Ukrainian hryvnia. She also stated that a CBDC is something that Stellar will continue to work with Ukraine on. Did not say when the CBDC might launch and did not have an update on the matter. Previous announcements did not reveal a potential launch date for the stablecoin either. So, Ukraine has a CBDC and a stablecoin being developed, and the one blockchain that they have been working with this whole time is Stellar Lumens. Now, this last quote that Dixon stated is the one that, since I read this back in March, has stuck with me this entire time. She says that Ukrainian president wants to move to a cashless society over the course of this year. This year, okay? Remember, this was posted in March, so a lot of things have happened since March 21st. Now, this next piece here is also very crucial, because it explains the type of relationship that we are going to see as these CBDCs roll out. Now, Dixon noted that although Ukraine is accepting other cryptocurrencies and escalating their usage, Stellar was never focused on having Ukraine work with the XLM token. I know, but that's not all bad news. She says, the Ukrainian CBDC project is primarily intended to ensure the strength of the hryvnia. She explained that their government does not want the hryvnia to be undermined by any other currency that could take its place. She also noted that Stellar technologies, such as the on and off ramps that Stellar introduced in conjunction with MoneyGram last October, could be applicable within Ukraine as well. So what we can take from this, guys, is a situation that is a lot similar to what we saw with Hedera Hashgraph, in the sense that they're not necessarily using the token to source liquidity and pay for transactions. They're using the actual technology that HBAR sits on in order to run these payment rails. That's going to be an element to the next generation of this crypto market that people are not going to be able to connect the dots on. And I think I know which token is going to bring that into the light. We'll save that for later. But simply, guys, what we are going to see when these CBDCs come online, they're going to need alternative payment systems, not the ones that currently exist because they aren't fast enough. They are going to be highly valuable the closer we get to this ISO transition, because and here's what a lot of influencers overlook too. I saw that short by Crypto Wendy when she's talked about ISO not being applicable. She didn't dig enough. She didn't do her own research. Pretty much what's going to occur is situations like what we just saw with MTech and what's going on with Stellar Lumens. It's the blockchain, not the token. Okay. But the token will sustain, it will accrue value based off of the utility of the underlying technology. A lot of people don't want to compare cryptos to stocks, but where else would the evaluation come from? Okay. Now let's jump over to one more piece, guys, to the last piece here. And this is a Twitter thread from Stellar. I talked about Davos earlier in the video, and wouldn't you know it, along with a few other blockchains that we will be discussing this week. But Stellar Lumens is going to be live at Davos 2022. Now, guys, if you haven't heard of Davos, you will by the time this week is over. But if you don't know, Davos is a meeting that occurs yearly. Was supposed to occur last year, but we had that whole thing happening, so it couldn't. So now it's occurring this year. And what we have here is a collaboration between world governments, global leaders, politicians, thought leaders, so forth and so on. Anybody pulling the strings are going to be at this meeting. And Stellar is going to be live here. Now, this thread kind of gives us details as to what is going to go on here. And right away, I found some very interesting things. Now, their first stop, SDF CEO and ED Danielle Dixon will join a panel on securrency. The website that they send you to when you go to this, guys, is worldeconomicforum.securrency.lounge or .com. But basically, that's going to be a discussion of between Stellar, Securrency, which is another crypto, and USDC Circle. They're going to be discussing a global liquidity program. All right, that's just step one. Step two, Danielle Dixon, Brooke Lassiter, Sheila Warren, and Jeanette Fouty will meet to discuss the future of Web3 financial services, also with Circle. Okay. Third stop, she's heading to the Female Quotas Equality Lounge. This is just pushing the gender equality narrative right there, which I'm all for. You know, I love everybody, and everybody should be on equal footing. Okay. Now, next stop, she joins the Global Blockchain Business Council. All right. Blockchain Central Talk for the Future of Money, alongside a couple national bank players. And then here on May 24th, guys, we'll be on stage during the official World Economic Forum program, talking about crypto's carbon footprint with Sam Bankman-Fried, Anthony Scaramucci, and Mr. Woodman and Robert Warp. And we have the link here where you can check out the documentation on that. You know, it'll be in the episode guide. But this was the panel that I was referring to earlier, guys, the wef.securrency.com, Securrency Liquidity Lounge, building a global liquidity network. Okay. These are the discussions that are going on at this Davos event, guys. And like I said, I posted a couple clips in the community tab already, so that way you guys can start getting information on that. One of the biggest ones is the food traceability discussion. All right. Now, we're actually going to get deeper into this on Wednesday when we focus on our future tech, but food traceability is going to be very important. And one of the hottest use cases for blockchain technology is the supply chain management, VChain, Fetch AI, so forth and so on. But as far as this video goes, guys, what we have here is the landscape being laid. The pieces are now in play. Okay. With Swift's new directive, what we are going to start seeing now is the relationship between CBDCs, blockchains, and this messaging standard all start to come together. All right. I was saying it in the Agenda 2022 video, guys. We're going to see a lot of public and private cooperation in order to make this happen. The only technologies that exist that will allow for the FSB and the G7 to achieve their goal of reducing remittance costs to less than 1%, the only place that technology exists are distributed ledger technologies, Hashgraphs, and blockchains, guys. So that's why we need to keep our eye on things like this, and that's what we do here. So if you found value in all that, guys, of course, you know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe, make sure you follow me on Twitter, and of course, ring the notification bell so that way you don't miss any more content. But all that being said, I want you to have a great Monday. Have a powerful Monday, a prosperous Monday, and most importantly, if that money is digital, so is the hustle. I'll see y'all in the next one.